Hello everyone, my name is Phawx. In this video, we're going to be talking about the time I got my Virtual Boy from Blockbuster. This is around 1996 or so that I got it, so I was like 15 or 16 years old. So this is how the story goes. I used to go to Blockbuster fairly frequently, maybe a few times a week I would go to Blockbuster, and I would just go there just to see anything new that they had available. Typically, I would go and take a look at the video game section, which was on the top floor of the Blockbuster. And on the corner, right in the front of the store, is this pedestal that had this plexiglass cube with an open top. And they would just dump like VHSs and other games that they would have. And typically the value of those weren't very good at all. Like old used up Super Nintendo games were still like $40. I was like, I'm not going to pay that when this has been through the ringer. But there was one time that I walked in, I kid you not, out of this plexiglass cube, right, is just this Virtual Boy box just sitting like haphazardly in it, barely in it. And I walk over and I go, well, that's weird. Well, maybe that was by mistake. So I go over, I take a look, and the Virtual Boy is $30. And so I take it and I go up to the front counter. I go, is this price correct? And they go, yeah, it's correct. And at the time I didn't know, but Nintendo basically discontinued the Virtual Boy. So as far as Blockbuster was concerned, it was discontinued, fire sale. So I managed to scoop up my Virtual Boy with that traveling case with all the stuff in it for $30. Then I went home with it, I let it off, and then I got more money from my mom because I wanted to buy every Virtual Boy game that Blockbuster was selling. So I went and I got every one of them that I possibly could. Is my collection of Virtual Boy games. Now, most of them are from Blockbuster, and it's easy to tell which ones are, mostly because the box has that foil tape that will, if you rip it off, it'll say void, void, void on it. And then there's also on the backs of the cartridges themselves, shows how much they were and how much I paid for them. Most of the games that I bought from Blockbuster were $10 a piece. Also, when this was happening, I bought everything that they had, but I knew that there were some other games that I wanted to pick up and play. So then I went to an electronics boutique near me in a mall and went and see if we could buy whatever they have. And remember, everything is fire sale at this point. So we bought up whatever remaining game that I didn't already own. And those have better boxes overall because they were brand new when I bought them and they weren't used. But they were a little bit more expensive. I think they were like $15. And truth be told, I probably would have been better off just buying all brand new ones instead of the Blockbuster versions. But whatever. That's where we are. There's still two more stories that I want to talk about for the Virtual Boy. I actually really loved the Virtual Boy, even though it burned my eyeballs out. My favorite game for Virtual Boy is, without a doubt, TeleroBoxer. And a lot of people don't really give this game enough respect. And that's because the game requires use of both D-pads. Now, this game is actually made by the same people that made all of the Punch-Out series. So it has that same flavor where you're trying to learn. The puzzle of the game is learning the movements of the opponent and trying to block and then attack whenever there's an opening. So it's a fighting puzzle game is all it ever boils down to. And TeleroBoxer is the same thing, except that you have to control both your left and right hand. So it is a bit more difficult, and because the game is really short, there's only 6 opponents that you have to fight, the difficulty curve is super high. So there's a lot more intricacies that you need to know than typically for Punch-Out games. But overall, I absolutely love this game. Without a doubt, it is the best Virtual Boy game that exists, in my opinion, and I see it often listed as one of the worst games for a Virtual Boy. And I would submit that a lot of people didn't actually play on a Virtual Boy and are trying to play emulated. And when you play emulated Virtual Boy, oftentimes I find that the right D-pad doesn't get mapped correctly. As a result, you can only really block or attack with your left hand, and you can't actually play the game to any real degree. So that's probably what I would say is the part where people get messed up and something that you should probably try to fix if you're going to play it. The other games that are on there, like Red Alert, Wario Land, Mario Tennis, those are also really good games as well. Overall, I love my Virtual Boy. I'm glad I have it. One of the problems that actually happens on Virtual Boys is over time, how Nintendo put the display connectors onto the PCB was just with glue. Eventually, that glue starts coming off. And as a result, when that's happening, the displays will actually fail. So the only way to actually permanently fix this is to have this soldered on. So I actually paid a guy around $70 to solder these on, and I actually have some video of that so you can see what that process looks like. But now it is super crystal clear, just like the day I got it. So this is going to last hopefully forever. and it's a worthwhile thing to get done to repair Virtual Boys, as it's definitely necessary. So this is my story on how I got my Virtual Boy from Blockbuster. For any people that in the comment section actually were alive when Blockbuster was around, go ahead and leave me some comments on some of your favorite Blockbuster stories. I'd love to read them. I hope this video was informative. As always, guys, thank you for your time, and thanks for watching.